Absolutely fair. I mean, that's what people invented the Picru character makers for. Like, I can't draw for shit, but I can use these randomizers. Let's see, where did I leave off? I believe I got all the spikes right. I adjusted some of their sizes offline. Because it is just finicky, annoying BS, and I'm not boring people with that. I think first I'm gonna mess with some of these, get them spread out a bit. Where are those smalls? Yeah, Flash took out so many good stuff. And hey, Holland made it to the Discord. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, let's see. Where... There's not a lot of room for these guys, because they're so far thin end, but let's see. Go there. Couple ones out. Let's see. That one's good. Let's go. Perfect. Perfect. But yeah, it's a shame everything that Flash took with it as it went down. It's almost borderline supervillain style. It's like, I may not win, but I'm not the only one losing. Let's see. Oh, that's the shit. We do not need that. I think the only thing we're gonna worry about is maybe these shadows. After that, we shrink. Like 3D look on that. It's just so thin now that I've gotten all these size things up. Let's see. Let's put all this stuff because it is just color distraction for now. Let's make sure. Yep. Boring ass names works too. We'll do this first. Get our colors back. There we go. Alright. And being on the correct layer. Okay, let's... Nope. No idea what I did. That blue is a little too far up. So just come back here and cut and paste. Again, but below. And this time in pink. it. And get freaking everything back up. How'd I come with Lucy? Well, for the players of mine in the chat, they started as an NPC in the campaign. He was supposed to be a red herring. Like, it just looked completely just shady, fiendish, trying to make deals and whatnot. And they were nice to him. A lot. They did not get as suspicious as I was expecting. And they just kept interacting, looking to his background. It's just like... yeah, we love Lucy. They asked enough questions, worked with him enough. I need to just keep adding on stuff, because he was a one-off joke. He was just supposed to be shady distraction later in the game, but they just were so kind with him, working with him. He took on a life of his own. Became more and more important, especially to I don't think the player's gonna make it today, but the character was Derek, a Aasimar, and one of 3 known Aasimar in the world who had a halo, which caused him some emotional issues, to say the least. But yeah, just built on him, and then like 5 or 6 months before the end of that campaign, I realized Lucy became my grandfather, my late grandfather, who unfortunately passed a few years ago, the weekend after Thanksgiving. But he was a great guy. I learned more good things from him than I did my own parents, and I mean, I just want to emulate that guy. And then when I started considering doing this kind of stuff, I thought, I mean, why not? Why not immortalize him a little bit more? And, that's why Lucy the Fiend looks like this in the lower right-hand corner. I'm working on getting some actual like art references of him, but it's been difficult getting family who are still talking to me and actually have any pictures. But I'm doing my best. I don't think I'll ever say enough. He was a great person, and if it was not for him, I would not be as well off as I am now. I'm like making union wages without being part of a union. So I was taught to actually give a shit about how my boss treats me, and stuff like that. I saved up like $3,000 before I left my first job. He was a great influence, and I can only hope that I have as good an influence on others as he had on me. But yeah, sappiness aside, that's where he came from. Just that campaign, building off of it, being asked lore because Derek's player just loved looking up lore. Kept asking about new stuff. And he found out a lot. He certainly found out a lot. I had to keep making up stuff on the spot because of him. I have not actually heard about Seamus. That might have happened during a stream or something where I could only pop in at the beginning. Let's use this for perspective. Yeah, tell me about Seamus. From what you said, I can tell he's a deity of some kind, which is fun. Let's go a little bigger. waiting to hear about this absolutely intelligent and fun-sounding character. I'm trying to remember how the fuck I got the perspective, maybe? Maybe it's perspective tool. Let's see. Right. It does this so I can... Let's see, 200, so 287. Can I? Oh, I can do that. Perfect. But yeah, I take it Seamus was important to your particular world or whatnot? Or maybe even some of the lore you've been putting through a few different drafts, you should say, in the last couple weeks. How I'm feeling about this one, so we're just gonna undo scale and just make a new one. What? That's weird. Seamus was part of the novice DM's poor mechanical distort. Right, I heard about all the trouble with this DM. Began as a great old one with Warlock, did some shady stuff because the DM had no control, and took his patron's power and became a lich. That is a very interesting origin for any sort of deity. I'm certainly loving the flavor on that too. But not liking that this copy didn't apparently happen, but whatever. Has anything else come of Seamus since this DM kind of screwed you and your group over? I mean, it is a very inspired story. Like, it's one of those tropes of Warlock taking over the patron, but it's not a bad trope. There's a lot of fun to be had with that, especially, well, either you DM or you find a better DM who will work with you. In fact, is Busk here? Can I talk about some of the work with him as an example? You might pop up later. But yeah, I'd say go for it. Because, let's see. I don't think I've actually talked about one of the characters I've reworked, like, multiple times for multiple campaigns that just kept going to shit. It was a real shame, because it was a fun character. They were a centaur. A centaur bard who was an orphan. And the thing about them is the first version of them I ever had, I had made with a friend. The purpose of them was we were going to play a campaign together. It did not work out, but we had so much fun making the characters that we kept building onto lore and reworking them. There was one short-lived campaign they couldn't join, but I played my centaur Silva the Bard, and it was nice. It would have been nicer to have her there, but... Oh, Shit, that was the wrong shortcut. It would be nice to have her there to help enjoy it as well, but that DM, shitty as he was, did work with me on having my friend's character just pop up as a side story thing. Ooh, more Seamus lore. Let's see. Seamus had a bloodline became that curse. Where they can accept power or reject it. A blood hunter named Blaine took that power and serves his ancestor in the Nine Rings. That is good, especially because blood hunters inherently got the kind of sorcerer lore, but for a martial, a little bit. So to make sure I understand, Blaine is a descendant of Seamus. I'm gonna take a guess. Post power stealing, like after Seamus got that lich level power. I mean, that's very. A couple ideas are coming to me, and I really don't want to say them in case they like you feel that I'm trying to like push you one way or another. But it's love. Oh, before he became a lich, yeah. There's a lot of like side missions to take that as a DM. Like I said, I've got a few ideas, but I mean, considering you might be working that into your character lore to some degree, I don't want to influence you one way or the other unless you ask for ideas. But it's like I can see a lot of ways to take that with the campaign. A lot of really fun, slightly evil ways that Busk, a DM I play with sometimes, has tried to shove at our current party. One of our players is a warlock who did the other jokey trope of what if your patron was you from another timeline or the future. And oh boy, that patron turned out to be kind of bloodthirsty towards a cleric in the party in particular. It has affected the party in a very fun way. What is this? Huh. I should mess around with these settings more often. Finding out this is a thing. Whee! Yeah. Now I'm really hoping you use him the way I used Lucy, because I'm interested in this lore. Let's see. This might be good when I want to give a little jaunty angle to a character. Look at that. This artificer is starting to look more like a holy paladin. I'm going to do this transform, so I'm looking to just make this top stand out a bit more than the bottom. Yeah, jaunty, that's the term, yeah. Let's see. Actually, why am I even doing this? First I need to get the frickin' break out of this corner. Let's see, do I still have break down here? Shadows, how to ring. I guess not. Oh wait, OG Halo. Here it is. I have it in this layer. So let's see if that scaled down, I think, will still work for my needs on this Halo. Close you now. Guessing is a... Oh, you're not familiar with most of the escapades I get into in my game. This little armored character here is another character I never got to play, though it was a planned backup. So let's see, unintentionally beat immortal with the 9 rings farmer. About where the dick goes and can't be truly killed. Yeah. I mean, when it's a player character with that kind of business, someone ends up finding a way. Eventually. Let's see. Wait, what layer am I putting this on right now? You know what? Let's just... There. Let's see. Not sure what the heck happened there. Shit, where did it go? Okay. Visible here. We need layer mask. Is transparent, transparent. Why can't I read? Oh, there it is. Oh, nope. Can't remember which is which. Yeah, like I said, Seamus sounds like a lot of fun potential. If you're going full PNG tuber like me. You may not be able to use it most with being a mod as you are, but I think it'd come up. If nothing else, you've got easy background for a character as soon as you use it. Why is it not? Can I copy a whole... Nope, that's not what I need. Wrong thing. But, crap. Immortality finds a way. I mean, look. If you're coming from the angle of a player, story that a player hates, not the best thing. However, coming from the angle of a DM, especially one such as myself, making use of something people hate really helps get the tension of a whole campaign going. I say that from lots of experience. Let's see. I'm sure Lonnie can speak of some of that. Maybe not so much directed at her, but she's seen what I've done. Let's see. Invert. Perfect. Let's see how it works. Oh. It's not worth the way I'm hoping. I was talking about how making use of something you know the player hates can make for an interesting game. How I think I've certainly done it to Busk. Yeah, I've done it to yes, the fox-faced twins. They were made to be hated, and of course, they always happen to get away. Let's see, is this gonna... Oop. Yeah, I believe one NPC referred to them as the fuckface twins, actually. It made it even more interesting with you guys going, it's like, yeah, we see it. Moderating. moderators do need representation too. Sadly, without a mic, it's a little hard getting it sometimes. Let's see. Co-DMing Seamus going against the party with an ally. Fighters decide to shoot an arrow at this unknown deity. Benefit of the doubt, Seamus is not controlling the tiefling. You know, man, if I ever do a full-on just guest speaker, tell your stories. Tell the funnest things you've done, tell the worst things you've done. I would certainly like to invite you along. There's so much. I just want to hear all this without having you limit yourself through the text. So I'm sure there's a whole lot of just nuance that's just unfortunately being lost. Let's see. Not really feeling that. Let's disable that mask for now. Let's see. Exactly. That's why the Discord channel. So I'd have already been getting some people popping in there. Makes it feel like it was actually a good idea to do, and not just me. The feeling above my station. A second week VTuber trying to get their own Discord? Huh. Let's see, James caught the arrow. You're painting. Wait, like just they're done for that day, or going, it's like, I'm not ready for this campaign. You guys, best of luck. Both are very different stories, I feel. So, let's see. And fill. Play, you'll be the smartest hero of the diabolical. I mean, I'm just saying, it's like maybe maybe the DM role is right up your style. It's because that's where all the funnest villainy gets to come in. Or even better, you have a very smart ally NPC at the party, and one day they do a heel turn that the players don't expect. I had that with a cleric who only let the party refer to them as chaplain, because he didn't know them that well. I mean, it is fair. You do need a certain level of patience, for one, which isn't a hit against you. I know you are probably the best player of the group in terms of manner and waiting your turn. And I think you've just gone like too far in the other direction to be able to really enjoy being a DM. Yeah, you do need to be able to handle people being people, to be overly nice about it. Let's not do Sherlock. Chalk is not coming in. Exactly. The guest who comes to control the villain for a session or two. Oh, shit, what'd I just do? Ooh. That might be what I'm looking for. Let's see. He said, smart as your diabolical villain. But here's the question. Hollow, can you do just the most adoptable goblin? Can you be little Noblin the Goblin? Or he's like, oh, but we can't just leave him here. Just look, he's gonna need help. Camera pans over to just foaming at the mouth, growling a little bit like he's gonna bite someone. You know, typical goblin behavior. Let's go. Gary's another really good name, yeah. Let's see. Or you weren't sure if he was a goblin or a kobold, or this might be even funnier. It's like I can't quite remember what they were, but they were certainly that. Let's see. Different stuff. Dissolve. There's a race. Code JPEG? Hello. I'm assuming you're just a lurker in the chat, but welcome to the archives. I just got it all wrapped up like 10 minutes before stream today, so if anyone sees some issue, do let me know. There are a bunch of channels that I have. You can only interact with them if you agree to the rules. It should be toggleable so people can just agree and then undo it. But yeah. That's the best way. It's like if you're posting here, you must have agreed. Oh, you talked about. Okay. So, were they both called Gary then? It's like, come on, we just adopted Gary yesterday. Who's Gary? Is he the goblin or the kobold? It's like, yes. The answer is yes, because we adopted them both. Come on, let me... I hate it when the toolbar does this. Come on. Okay, George and Gary. Just a couple of office workers. I wasn't full shit. Your dwarf was about to drown a strength-based monk. Oh god, monk is like the worst thing to swap your main stat. It's like the only other worst one I can think of is maybe paladin, because paladins are kind of concentration spell heavy, and it'd be a good idea to not suddenly lose that just because you are in melee. It's just so sad that I have not given you guys an opportunity to adopt and name something. Like, you've tried with some absolutely horrible choices. Came by to bite you in the ass. Let's see. Well, yeah, you named your sword, but it's not quite the same as a adoptable little gremlin, literally. Let's see, size. Oh, too small, too small. Player accessible behind the civil strength. Yeah. Yeah, those players are not... They're not the funnest to be around. It's a character that's striving to become the strongest. Be the epitome of strength itself for all mortals. That's an interesting character. But anyone who wants to start off at that point, it's like, why are you playing a game that has levels? Why aren't you playing something that is just pure role playing? Let's see. Well, actually, now that I think about it, Hollow, any other... Funny how I was gonna ask this. Shit, memory. Is about... Right, your zombie Frankenstein-esque. See, I mean, Penny absolutely did. Though, actually, I can't remember. Was that a sword that Andrea made for you, or was that something you guys found? Because I know Andrea made a lot of gear for you guys. Stole? Oh. Oh boy, now I'm wondering why I can't remember it. You guys did not steal a lot. You really didn't need to. Especially Penny just being flush with money. Let's see. Let me try and retrace the steps here. First campaign, we had those two absolute tits who were playing with us. I gave the boot as soon as I had a good moment for it. Oh, yeah, the the Sword of Levistus. Wait, no, it wasn't the sword. It was is a dagger, and for the offhand to go with a rapier. And the point of that was, let's see, what was the point of that? Right, it gave AC and offhand attack with less downsides as typical. And you guys really... Where's the ice sword from then? Wait, oh. I remember the ice sword. You got a rune. I can't remember what the rune did. But that was the reason I had Penny pull a dagger from the deck of many weapons. And yeah, they were not great players. One of them I let be Necromancer, because in the setting, magic was new. They'd been around for like maybe 5 or 6 years, but otherwise modern setting. So they hadn't outlawed necromancy. There were some restrictions to keep people from going like full necromancer all the time, but that was about it. And he took advantage of me being willing to work with him on stuff. There's an optional rule in the Dungeon Master's Guide called spell points. And the thing about spell points is... instead of spell slots, you have a number of points similar to the meta magic points sorcerers has, but for any casting class. And the thing about it is it means you can cast some more, like say 6 or 7 first level spells, but you're not getting some third level. And as the Necromancer, he broke that. He broke it by getting so many animate undeads that Lonnie here, playing as Penny the champion fighter, didn't really have a purpose in the party. Like, she couldn't make use of her fighting skills. And he just kept thinking up ways to get that ramped up more and more, despite it being a very heavy RP campaign, and thus not needing that sort of power. So shortly before they left, I let Lonnie know, it's like, hey, this guy is taking your main role. If you want to switch subclasses, you can. And she came out with fucking Rune Knight Fighter, and I love that switch. Stuff that came from it. Yeah, they were asshats because power gamers trying to break things, and I was being too lenient because I just wanted a group. But eventually we got to a point in the story where it was a nice breaking off point. Remove them, get other players in, and Busk and Michael, great replacements. Improved the story immediately. But it sucked. It sucked a lot that shift was necessary. But yeah, you can't always have a good one. And shitty players are easier to replace than shitty DM. Let's start there. Shit. Yeah, I did not miss them after that. It was a span of 10 minutes where I kicked them from the group, blocked them on Roll20, blocked them on Discord. I was not letting them try and talk their way back. Keep forgetting to do the overlay first. I was not letting them try to do that because I was fed up with their shit. Just power gamers in a supposed to be largely chill but cinematic game. Yeah, it is a good decision. A lot of good has come from it. That's why I will never regret it. It is just one of those things where it's like, it sucks I had to live through it at all. I wish I knew a good way to go about breaking this. It's like, you're giving me ideas, but I don't think I have the right skill to do it. Like this, these breaks look great. But how the fuck do I do that on purpose? Let's go back and just do... We'll just fiddle with brushes for a bit. First, raise move. Yeah, it's they're certainly not they weren't the worst players I've ever heard of, thank gods. But they just weren't team players. And they knew each other. So I really couldn't just get rid of one. That was the biggest disappointment, that I could just not... Sorry, I couldn't just say, it's like, I'm sorry, you gotta go, but your friend can stay. It's like, no. No way I could have gotten away with that. Let's just see right here. Here, quick learner, break the system, no intentions. I mean, that's still decent, because, I mean, for one, it's unintentional. Always love some good unintentional combo breaking. But also... I mean, you're at least trying to have other people have fun as well. They were definitely not those types of players. They just wanted to be the big, powerful character types, the big heroes everyone looked to, and they didn't care what anyone else was having fun. Otherwise, it is a shame, because one of them had an interesting backstory idea. A guild of necromancers from England. And there were some subtle side story things players didn't get into, but I informed them. There was a undead activity in the catacombs under Paris, and that undead guild was just trying to get permission to go and take care of it, but the Parisians were not trusting them. One, because they were English, and two, they were necromancers, and they were a little bit... They considered the fact that they might have caused the activity. So you broke a Strahd game. Puzzle. All of the water to blood. Okay. Because it's not coming to mind, and it might be it's just a homebrew spell, how did you turn water to blood? Just like prestidigitation, this water now tastes of salty iron. And I've colored it red as well. They just like dump some bodies in there after a fight. It's not opacity I need. Yeah, that's... I can definitely see how that happened then. Oof. It's looking better. The true Antichrist. No, that joke's probably a bit much. But yeah. Turning anything into blood to break a puzzle, definitely up there is, that's one of those things where it probably doesn't happen a lot in the history of game, especially not Strahd. Like, of all the games you think, there's no way blood is gonna ruin this. Somehow. Let's see. It's just too heavy. God, I wish I was better. What the fuck is Wilbur? Oh. It's the logo. Got it. Fucking pepper. Oh. Do you transmute any? I mean, once you figure out how to transmute water into blood permanently, I mean, every other transmutation is just weak sauce compared to that. It's not bad. But yeah, that's Strahd is just, it falls into one of two categories, from what I've heard. It either gets absolutely off-the-ball crazy and cartoonish, or it's super grimdark. And that's not even the choice of the players, it's the choice of the DM, just going fuck it or not. something else. What kind of filters can we put through here to try and figure out? Spherize? What the fuck is that? Oh, I see. I will, actually, the fuck does... Oh god, did they do something this week, or is it just something that's coming out? Like, it's really hard to tell with Wizards. I mean, they've already done Pinkertons this year. God, all the OGL nonsense back in, what, February, March? I'm almost not sure what else they could do to fuck up as bad as that, unless someone's actively trying at this point. Mosaic. No, I mean, it's not a new thing. I've definitely heard rumors that they were gonna try that. Let's see. Nope, too big. Let's go. That might be the way to break it. As a guideline, if nothing else. Let's see. Yes. Because I remember there was talk of them trying to do NFTs when that started getting big, but the fandom really told them to like shut the fuck up about NFTs. I think they learned pretty quickly. What is that? Just light? We don't need that, do we? Yeah, it's a AI. I think they actually try to do some amount of AI. When was that news out? March or April? The talk of an AI DM to do the game for you, which was never going to work. At least for the games I run, no AI can replicate that. And the reason for that is because if my players want to do something and I think it's interesting enough, and it's interesting enough, I will alter the story for them. I'll go, it's like, that sounds a lot better than what I was doing, let's do it. And let's see, what is the best example from Campaign 1? Oh wait, the best example of that is fucking Lucy here. Lucy is exactly that. No AI could reproduce what I did with Lucy, where people kept interacting, going back, asking questions. They could never accidentally recreate a beloved figure in my life that none of the players knew. And that almost directly affected how some of the plot went, because he's no longer going to be the guy who was the red herring. It's like that wasn't going to happen anymore. And if he's not the red herring, I mean, that means he'd be an active supporter, actively assist them. He became, let's see, he sheltered a genie, a smoke genie, who made boba tea potions. It's like exactly like real life, little tapioca balls in a potion. They were cheaper than normal potions, but they had an expiration date, which meant super affordable for new adventurers. most of them lasted about a week. And that option of when... I want to say it was Derek who asked too many questions and had the genie run because he thought he had been figured out. He ran to shelter with Lucy, the head librarian, and a demi-plane. Quick sip. Because he did that... because they were on good terms with Lucy, they could sort things out. Sort out the misunderstanding instead of this guy just disappearing forever. It's like, oh, you guys aren't part of the fucking capitalist business that had captured and enslaved me for their R&D department. This is awesome. And it was. But now it's let's see, disable. Yeah, let's just go ahead and where's it? Delete layer mask. We'll add another one. Let's just quick check. What the fuck happened? Shit, where is I? Right, the genie potion making. If they had not gotten back in touch with him for that, he probably wouldn't have had an opportunity to make potions for the end game battle. Like, literally, the battle to end all battles for that campaign, with a bunch of other adventurers. If he had not just been brewing potions back to back after everything had been sorted out, oh boy, a lot of things would have been harder in that final fight. Actually, since I'm stuck on this a little bit, let me see if I can't open the art I have of the big bad for that campaign, so you can get an idea of just how dangerous this was. Let's see. L for Lycaon, where the oh, because that's avatars. Let's see. Comic book love. I mean, you'd be mixing up with our little group of people, a whole bunch of fantasy creatures and mundane jobs. I mean, let's hear it. Are they a supervillain? Because I know earlier you talked about how much you liked doing a villain role. Let's see. You know what? It's going to be easier just searching in the Finder. Yeah, let's hear about this other idea. I found him. Well, I'm sure you're typing up that. Let me show you the big bad. There we go. Lycaon. The last of the wild gods. A giant, like absolutely towering. This guy was a 25 by 25 token. Well, 25 foot by 25 foot. And he was undead. He was actively trying to become an archdevil. And part of the way to do that is just straight up taking over a section of the prime material, absorbing it. And, he used to be a god for wolves. He was the last of any of the animalistic gods and totems like that. And one day he just stumbled into the wrong part of the forest, ate a young girl, settled down for a nap, and while he was unconscious, a young-looking man that most people nowadays might refer to as Loki cut open his stomach with a silver-edged axe. And because the girl managed to leave that body alive, she took a good chunk of Lycaon's godly power with her. He was trapped, just waiting for the power to come back and, give humanity a good old 1-4. He had a nasty ability. I think the story about that would be for another time, but it's thankfully the party did not have to deal with some of the things that went on in his realm, because they took him down in less than a minute game time. Like 2 hours in the session, just take this guy down. Yeah, I think that's going to be the first big story time. He is the first big boss I've ever made. Yeah. Let's see. A professor in various worlds. Okay. Let's see. So how are you thinking to flavor that if you went with your comic style? Is it Spider-Verse style? Is he just or is it like Sliders where you're just getting pulled back and forth between different worlds and timelines? I was proud of Lycan. I was glad this guy did the art, because he also gave me like 4 other color palettes I didn't ask for. He was like, just in case you wanted them, here's what I think looks good. I tipped that guy another $20 for that, unasked for, because that I would not have thought try for that. Let's see. Perfect. Now let's see. Learn tool for that in a sec. We need a softer one of a smaller size. Come on. That's my favorite thing about Lycaon. Back aside, spot. Yeah, I see definitely a Spider-Verse-esque thing if you're going that style. That's Lycaon was really good, especially because I had the idea of him possibly coming up since the beginning, like when those assholes were still with us. But the beginning of the story was pretty much, let's see, it wasn't Death himself, it was the Sandman, a cousin to Death, as some cultures might consider it, coming with these people, and it's like, hey, you're not the A team, you're not the B team, you're not even the Z team. It's like, you're the cleanup crew while we find the actual heroes and get them on the case. And they were like, it's like, that's a bit rude, but okay. I mean, for a villain is persona like that for Universe Crossing, Hollow Sentry still works pretty good. Yeah, it's Lycaon was something the hero party was supposed to work on, but they just didn't appear in the right spot. They were being heroic to a nameless little village a little far from there. Death is like, this needs to happen for prophecy bullshit. So if you guys could just handle it for them so the timeline's good, okay. They did get some good gear. Let's see, what did I call them? Soul gems. Not quite. Yeah, no problem, Lonnie. So, thanks for hanging out and keeping us company. I'll see you tomorrow. Let's see, I didn't call them soul gems. It was just something else generic, like soul stone. It's not the important bit. The great thing about them is that soul stones are a magic item. If you expend them as part of casting a spell, it increases the effective spell level. So if you did, say, a 3rd level fireball, it could do up to a 5th level damage. Very useful for, let's see, yeah, one of the guys was a sorcerer at the time. But the necromancer used it as part of his horrible animate undead strategy. But I thought he might do that, so I had a additional little wrinkle. And that was a golden soul gem. Much different from the, was it purple? Yeah, purple ones they had gotten. Purple ones are not quite ripe, so to speak. But the gold ones, though he didn't know it at the time, were the souls of heroes. Much stronger than normal tortured prisoners. And as such, when he used it to upcast a spell, the soul of that particular hero got entangled with the undead body. These look a lot nicer. And it got some sentience of its own. If they had not been such twats that I kicked them from the campaign, though, where that plot line would have gone is eventually that undead would have killed someone in the dead of night when everyone was asleep and unable to rein them in or even notice they were gone. And would have just gotten accusation of him having sent this undead specifically to kill in the night. It would have been a nice little whodunit if someone was framing them, or if it was actually this undead, if he had maybe lied to the group about not having ordered it, that sort of stuff. But like I said, him and his friend with a twat, so they got booted. Shame. Because I thought that would have been a very fun side thing to happen that wasn't, like, directly plot related. Oh, sure, no problem. DMs are always open. Yeah, it always sucks when, some people just want to ruin the hobby because they're going to be selfish, or they want their own story, or have assumptions about how stories should go, and if you don't give it to them, well, fuck you. You're supposed to be the dancing monkey and do what they say. It's just really not... It's like some people haven't ever even seen someone play. Oh, what's this bag? Let's see. Well, at least it looks like the channels are actually working, so that's good. Everyone's getting their roles. And actually, while I'm here, I'll go ahead and get the one added on for you, Hollow. Don't know if you want to be a mod here too, but at the very least, visiting academic for all the friends I want to have on high, without forcing responsibilities on them that they don't want. Yeah, it's you know, I hear some older editions are a lot better for a lot better for RP because they're not so focused on some of the rules. Funnily enough, despite all the shit some people give 4th edition, I hear that that's actually really good. It just got canned because they tried to update the third-party agreement, all the homebrewer stuff, and that's why people are like, fuck no, we're sticking with the old stuff. And 4th edition just didn't sell well. Which, I mean, completely understandable. Try and change how much money third-party sellers, the backbone of the game. Right, that. Probably a better way to put it, yeah. It's like, you love it, you love it. If you don't, well, you're not gonna. Let's see. Honestly, I'd love to get into Pathfinder. It's just so goddamn crunchy. And I don't care about some rules that much. Like, I like making up my own mechanics, get a setting working. Let's do... This is starting to look real good, though. Yeah, it's a... I think Pathfinder is going to be one of those games I want to try but never actually do. Until I'm borderline forced by friends. It's like, we really want to do this. Yeah, I just like RP-based systems a lot more. I think I said in another stream. Figure out exalted. You make your own exalted. Yeah, exactly. If the system is named after, like, a lore or character or was it not a role, a job, like Pathfinder, where you can aim to become one of the Pathfinders, that's the best way to do it. It's what is it? Gods and Monsters, I think. I know there's a Kickstarter system where you are part-time gods. That's it, part-time gods, where you make a part-time god. You have to decide how much of your time is getting more followers and getting god boons. Oh, no, I'm sure I've got the PDF somewhere, but I do appreciate it. I've got a big fat folder of third-party games and homebrew, a lot of which I haven't actually used. It's just nice supporting the community. It's like, God, all the one-shots I have. Oof. But yeah, it's I borderline collect little third-party games like that. Because even if I don't get time to play them, I might get inspired by the mechanics. Like Girls by Moonlight, I think I've talked about that in one of Baraka's streams. I've got my players to agree to just a short mini-series in between Campaign 2 and 3, where we do that. I've told them that what they do in that mini-series will affect lore of Campaign 3, to get them kind of hyped for it. And I'm not even lying. It's, let's see. Are you familiar with the Spelljammer setting at all? Even just from the Rage? Yeah, and Hardwire Island, which is another one I might consider for replacing 5e in the third campaign. Yeah, have you heard of Spelljammer at all? Even just through the rage of how horrible the released set they did. So it's in space, pretty much a Pirates of the Caribbean thing, but it's fantasy races, space, going to different worlds instead of islands. I'm doing that for my third campaign with these guys. Just because I don't want to give up some of the cool tech things they've introduced to the worlds. But I still want some of the more fantastical elements. Including a mech mechanic I have, where pretty much in the outer space battles they have effectively a secondary health bar when their mech blows up, and that's just them trying to get back to a ship instead of death save throws. Good way to just bring some extra tension to it all. And they are just hyped. One of the guys is playing a sentient bunch of gases, like borderline elemental. See, I do like Lancer. I think it's too crunchy for the way these guys play with me. So it's too focused on the combat aspect, not enough on what they do outside of the mechs. And oh boy, the things these guys have made with their artificers or wizards. There is a magic item referred to as a Palm Pilot. It's the base model. It looks like those artist posable figures for just doing sketches, getting the energy lines right and all that. The things they did after buying one of them, some custom little clothes, they disguised it as an angel and gave a wannabe prophet lady who is borderline terrorist, like just putting it out there. She was a uber Catholic Texan woman who was like attacking these elves and dwarves who were leaving the Feywild. Borderline terrorist. And they tricked her with, I believe it wasn't a nat 20, but they still got over 30 on the skill check to convince her that this is angel from on high giving her a duty from the Lord. And they fucking framed her for some, let's see, for infiltrating a military base. And, oh boy, her husband had divorced her real quick. Because as much as he might not care about the quote-unquote lesser races from their perspective, he was a die-hard military guy. It's like, you and your friends were infiltrating a what? I'm sorry, you've gone overboard now. Get the fuck out of this house. But better yet, I'm leaving this house. Stay in jail. It's, it's just fun times for family. I think that's pretty good for now. Let's see. No, not that. I need color picker. Color picker. Aha. Yeah, like I said, they've done some real crazy things I just didn't expect in Campaign 1. Let's see. And, God, I really wish I had all my note cards here, because I took extensive notes of how many days they did what. Oh, shit, wrong thing. How many days they took to do what, and they did a lot of crafting that first campaign, despite having a timeline they had to worry about. And they got everything done. I was expecting them to get most. I had improv, like, on the spot they put me. I had to improv an entire prophecy. And, there was a different mission for each of them, kind of tied to their backstory, kind of tied to their archetype I gave them. And they just knocked it out of the water. I was legitimately amazed at what they did with that. Let's see. That's wrong way to do it. Oh, wrong link, that's why. Yeah, there was this forge. This dwarven forge buried deep underground. And the artificer's task was to free it from the guy who was misusing it. Because he was pursuing a sort of, like, adjuvant lichdom. He's trying to become immortal by giving himself a robot body, and then just infinite doubles to just go back to. When one dies, just mine gets moved over. And, her task was to free it from his clutches, and to do it, they had to split up. They had to do the dreaded splitting of the party. But it worked. It worked so well, in fact, that as part of the success rate they had, they met the person who was borderline powering the forge. It was a Rakshasa. Let's see, not sure if you're familiar with them, but they're pretty much fiends who have immunity to certain spells. I believe it's 4th level and lower in 5th edition. Yeah, retroactive mortality. And, yeah, it's they defeat him by splitting the party. Everyone except the Artificer, focusing on the main body. And she was going off to another room. She found the server room, and she pretty much turned off the Wi-Fi. Unfortunately, they did not permanently kill him. But what they did was they erased the main backup, the one that had all the memories of their excursions down there. And before his next body could come up, they found the guy... they found the Rakshasa, made a deal with him, so that they could come and go as they pleased. And just craft as much as they'd like. Which they didn't do too much. What they did instead, because they were high level at this point, the wizard cast Simulacrum on the Artificer. It's like, she'll stay behind and make all kinds of stuff for us. Worst case scenario, we just get some extra money. Which point I went, oh no. Oh shit. Yeah. Like I've said multiple times, I love these guys. They are so creative. Ooh. Did not mean to erase that much. So creative, and the ways they inspire me for plot. Just things I could never expect. They're very good at it. I think, gosh, collectively, we've got to have over like 50 years of just D&D and other such game experience. It's been very nice seeing how they yank this world around, but I'm not expecting it. Let's see. Yeah. Dark fantasy. Sounds familiar. Let me check that real quick. As a genre, let's see. Sense of horror and dread, but not edgy. Okay. Yeah. I think dark edgy is pretty close to what I do. Like, I try to give some good, like, soap opera moments, little one-liners so everyone can still have fun and funniness. I prefer it, personally, for books. Like, just reading dark fantasy, borderline thriller is the way to go for me. I don't think I could really enjoy it the same way as a DM. As a player, probably, but as a DM, I would struggle. Let's see. Let's reuse. Is there a particular, like, game or story you're thinking of there, Ala? Let's see. Yeah. I mean, it's always good to work with extremes, because then it's easier to dial things back. Let's see. Because I tell my players all the time, I'm an evil DM. And I do think up absolutely evil plans sometimes, but it's not what I show them in-game a lot. What I typically do is just think of what is the most evil thing this character might do if pushed, and then I dial it back. I figure out the range I'm willing to do for the group, just in case if after consideration I go, it's like, oh no, this might actually be tricky, because like so-and-so said they're not comfortable with these themes, or it's going to contrast with that guy's character a bit too much. Goes through that's a perfect way to put it. Goes through recycling. Yeah, you when brainstorming things, you should never throw any ideas away. Because a day might come where you have the perfect opportunity for it. So it's why I've reused some characters in one form or another various times. Let's see. Man, just nothing come to me on this. What if I just duplicate this and moved a bit? Just like, none, we don't need you. Oh, right. Here. I think I'm going to have to go back to drawing board on this. I'm just have an art block on that. But I still have about a half hour for what I usually want to make. Just nice maybe 2.5 hour streams. So how about we just save this for here. And let me open up the emote I want to lucify. Because there's one in particular I think would be very funny to have an alternate form of. Here is the folder, desktop. Make Davis Crane, figure it out. I mean, sorry, if there is a way to make something positive out of a bad memory, and it's not going to hurt you too bad to think on it, I would say give it a try, but I mean, it should be a last resort. It's definitely something you do when you've got good people nearby to talk things out, or not notice to maybe keep an eye and make sure you're not pushing yourself too much. So I'm sure you remember last week Braka was feeling real down because she did what she knew she shouldn't, looking through messages of people she blocked for good reason. You shouldn't push yourself. I mean, a lot of people say so many artists get inspired from their suffering. I mean, so many don't either. Like, sure, I have suffered in life. Some of it has affected my D&D world, but I try not to draw too much from it. Because I don't want those experiences to define me. Like, there have been absolutely shitty people in my life who did kind things for me. And I'll do my best to remember the kind things, but I don't want to be inspired by negativity. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you just need to keep the past in the past, because it's not worth dwelling on. finally found you guys. Okay, somewhere in this folder. Turtle, power. Here we go. Gimp. Here we go. So, what I want to do is I want to make this falling star Lucified. God, I can't remember when all the emoji mixers came out. People just like slamming things together. What aim of it? It's like that were some very fun times. Don't need you fucking with me. Yeah, it's a very good times, and I saw this turtle comet, and I'm like, I'm gonna want to do something with that one day. I'm not sure what. And here it is. Here's what I'm gonna do. Duplicate invisible there. Out of there. Perfect. Falling star, falling turtle, and now it's just gonna be this fucking heart. Question is, do I go point first, or, well, which point first, I guess, is the best way to put that. Let's see, can I straight up copy to paste to another one? Nothing looked obvious, so I guess I'll have to go the tried and true. It's like, give me this shit in particular. There we go. I delete that. Release that. I'll just save that there. First, make sure transparent. Yep. Some size comparison. Oh, that turtle's a lot bigger than I was expecting. That is awesome. For now, we are just gonna move the paste thing there. We're gonna make it just general shape for now before we get to all the colors going on. Let's see. Oh, I'm just gonna call it Corona. Like a Corona of the sun, not the absolutely horrid beer. Good lord. Let's see. It should be bigger like that. Scissors, where is point to point? Is this? There. Perfect. There we go. After this, I can just copy and paste the same layer, but smaller. But I'm going to start with yeah, we'll just do black for a solid color. And the next we'll get out. Is that it? I'll do that one. I should know that. Need to duplicate. And that last one I'll do by hand, because that's real tiny. So scale should sit up. Let's see. That's pretty close. Let's be about there, I think. Oh shit, what did it? Fuck. It's supposed to be the whole item, select none. I am suddenly regretting. Okay. I'll just kind of scale it up to that second one, because we can rearrange it later. Now we'll repaint, like I should have done first. That was lasso. Another circle there. Select again. Ooh. Ah. Finally, shit, where's the wand? Fuzzy select there. Into it, pink. Pink? What is that? Is that a U maybe? There we go. Just add it. Cut. What we're going to do for this one is we're going to start feathering it out. Wait, why is it? You're not supposed to. Okay, new layer. Okay, good. Now I can get rid of you because you failed me. Yeah, distance there is good. All that's left is the custom tiny. Let's go like this. Not too much. We did a good amount of talk about stuff that happened in Campaign 1. You missed me tried out the Lycaon artwork that we were oh so proud of. I'm gonna have to angle that sheet. We talked about. Sorry, we talked about Derek's mother and how you guys completely bamboozled her with a Palm Pilot. Probably one of the highlights of the campaign to me, making her think that tiny little guy was a prophet. Let's see. There. Let's see. Yeah, we didn't actually. Oh, we talked about something else that you unfortunately couldn't have participated in, which was trashing on the absolutely horrible players that you and Busk replaced. So there. Let's see. As soon as I close this off, I can show you where we got with the Halo. Because I started just getting artist block of how to handle it. First, let me... Yeah, let's do that. This one we will do blue so I don't lose it. Perfect. Right. Didn't have one for him. We will call it... Start power. Because I'm not too creative right now. But yeah, it's so this is about where we were last time. The one major thing I've done, don't do that, is I have, where was this one? Oh wait. There it is. I've been fiddling with how to kind of make this look broken. But what I started was this kind of mosaic filter I did over a part of it, and just tracing over some of those lines with eraser marks, I think that's a good start. I don't know how to make whole pieces disappear but still look good. I think that detail I'll have to fiddle with off screen, but I think it's a good start, right? To make this whole piece look broken off, but keep a few hanging pieces, like maybe the spikes. I'll resave that because I fiddled with shit, I can't remember what. Yeah, for now we are gonna make a wonderful little turtle. So those are crumbs there. Alright. Yeah, since you're here, any suggestion on how we're gonna incorporate this icon? So let's remove select so it doesn't fiddle with anything. Rotate Shift R, I think. No, damn it. I'm gonna have to cut just this, okay? Oh, wait. Let's see. Layer. Oh, shit. Not select the content. Crop the content. There we go. That's selection layer. Okay. So, idea, I'm not sure, is do the star point first or do the heart point first. My one thought is this looks like a attack. Full on going, it's like take this. Yeah, I was thinking that too. There's also this, it looks less like a heart and almost like, I don't know, a pair of lips with lipstick so shiny it's sparkling, which I'm not against. I think that would also be funny for like Discord channel emote. Yeah, that's something we can think on. Doesn't really matter till towards the end, because I think what I'm going to do with these colors is I'm going to go full on trans flag colors, because I've got the pastels in the palette. In fact, they're all right here. Yeah, I'll set you for now, because we're just going to hold off. So we're going to start with this. Actually, I gotta look it up real first, because I can never remember if trans flag is blue, pink, white, or pink, blue, white. Trans flag. Not trans flag. I don't want to be, don't want Google to autocorrect that for me in the future. Okay. Okay, blue, pink, white. Blue, pink, white. Let's see. Actually... palette. Sorry, Granny wrote seal, but I need the palette for so. Make sure. Need that blue. That pink. And I don't think I have... I'm going to do white, so it doesn't matter. So yeah. Back off. Had to skip your turn. Ah, that sucks. I mean, from the sound of it, your lectures are pre-recorded at least. I mean, at least you got that going for you, right? So, actually, while I'm not in the middle of doing the gradient, let me go ahead and check the update on that tracking number for you. It looks like it still hasn't even landed in Australia yet. And hopefully by tomorrow, because it took off yesterday at, from my perspective, 6 in the morning. But you're so close to having your own physical deck of tarot cards, buddy. Let's see. This one we need to select that gradient. Gradient tool. Gotta remember I fucked up the tool options. Now it's not in the Let's try to do this. Nope, not that. Yeah, later. What, bad news? Don't give me bad news. You're still able to make tomorrow's game, right? 'Cause that'd be the worst news. I mean, there's a bunch of ways to do it. What I typically do, I mean, other than the hand it over to the person, have them shuffle it, because I do like that shtick. But what I like to do is... So the way back when I used to play Magic the Gathering, I would do 3 or 4 pile shuffle, where you go card 1 to 1 pile, 2 for a second, 3 third, so on. And then just do like kind of smaller dealer shuffles, because that was less likely to bend the cards in a depreciable way. I mean, I wasn't playing to like sell any of them, but it's the sort of thing you worry about when your brother is a very big, I'm talking very big nerd in regards to that. Let's see, capacity. Yeah, we'll keep full. Yeah, I mean, shuffling cards does not matter, so long as how you do it for a tarot deck, and you do it with confidence, then it does not matter. Let's see. This one I'll probably have to bring down the opacity a bit. I'll figure that out later. Let's see, I mean, like I said, what I got you is a very atypical tarot deck, because I got the one that can also be used as an initiative counter for D&D. Ah, yes, 52 card pickup. I'm familiar with that method. This one should be a white, shouldn't it? But yeah, it's so long as you have a method you stick to, tarot should come easily. I mean, it should come pretty easily to you. You've gotten some spot-on predictions of a campaign. But no, it's a... God, you know what? I kind of want to record a session with you guys on Friday night, if only so you could show off your freaking tarot card reading on my plot. Let's see, time you almost joined a tarot-based campaign where everyone's characters are. Yeah, I vaguely remember a campaign with that too. I think the issue was it wasn't a 5e campaign at that point. Like, they had advertised it as one, but then they just changed so many of the how's it? Just changed enough of the core mechanics that it no longer felt like it. You know? Let's see, in this one I think I'm gonna go linear. We are usually... Oh, let's... It's not linear. Maybe it's... Conical, that's what I was trying to think of. No, why is it... Well... That's what I was doing wrong. I was doing the wrong orientation. that's yeah, you, by virtue of not being on any of our campaigns, he has gotten some really just spot on predictions of a character's story going forward. And I'd love to go into detail of how exactly, like how close you've gotten. But I just can't because it'd spoil so much. Like, I would love to, but I don't think you guys will enjoy the story as much if you don't know. That's not it here. I know there's a way to... Ah, there it is. Let me move... How do I do this one? What the fuck? Well, you know what? No, I don't want to do that to them because I'm streaming right now. How about we do one for Aether? Because you are just oh so attached to him right now. Let's maybe put a little bit of fear in you. Come on, what did I do wrong? Shit. That's what that's doing. Okay. Shit, so I might be able to do what I was wanting to do. No, it was minor. It was real symmetric. Wish I knew how this fucking worked. Come on. No, not that. Screw it, I'm not doing this. It is going to be tiny. We are going to do simpler, just bilinear. Yeah. Oh god, it moved, shit. How do I remove this? Delete. Alrighty, so you're doing Judgment, High Priestess, Tower, Moon, Devil Star. Alrighty, once again with one of your predictions, I'm gonna go ahead and just open up my handy dandy tarot card thing and try to remember the order of what shit does what. Let's see. Was we were just talking about the other day. Hint would be a lot better. So the first is self. your little sentient space gas, judges himself. Well, judgment's also the end-all be-all. Represents the absolute end, the just being judged by God for their things on Earth, which not the best start, especially because he does not know his own background. The next is what he wants. He wants the High Priestess. She's not really knowledge. She's closer to magic itself. But from what I've heard, he's not really a power seeker. He's not a wizard. But then the symbolism on this card also ties into the moon, which the class you did choose, the reflavored lunar sorcerer, to be the sun and the star and the moon. It might very well be that he prefers the access to the stuff he gets under the moon sign. After what he wants, what he fears is the tower. Absolute destruction, tragedy, the unavoidable. Considering how naive and cinnamon roll you have talked about making Aether, that's a reasonable fear. Things ending and not going the way he wants them to. But he's helped. Helped by the moon, once again tying into the High Priestess. Let me double check, because I know the star is not quite wishes, but hope. The moon. It's tied into visions and illusions. Madness. Poetry, on a more positive note. So, indulging more creative pursuits will help him grow. Your little gas giant. So I mean that speaks well of the way you want to play him. Until he's hindered by the devil, by deals, by perhaps in a more literal sense fiends, considering our campaign is still in 5e. Let's see. Yeah, it's all about manipulation into indulging into one's baser instincts, or being used as a tool himself. I can certainly see how that would hinder him when what would help his indulging creative pursuits. But his fate, his ultimate fate, is the star. D&D, that might represent a wish in particular, or the ring of 3 wishes. The star is more looking towards the future, not predicting change, but hope, healing, happy times. So it sounds like unless you really screw up with Aether, he's gonna get a good end. I don't know, maybe he'll retire, despite not needing to eat or do anything like that. He might very well retire a very happy gas cloud. I like how you spell Morbin there. So it is supposed to be more like this. Oh wait, shit. Can't speak there, can I? Can I move this window? Perfect. Yeah, it's supposed to be spelled a bit more like Guinevere. I took a lot of inspiration from Camelot and the stories around Excalibur. Especially Morgan Le Fay. Let's see. And each place, so the self is death. That's not far off, yeah. Yeah, that patron in particular called for the death of the party's cleric, for reasons he did not explain. He wants a happy end, that is true. What we have learned out of character is the patron is that same character's older self. Unsure if it's a different timeline or even just the future. Let's see. What he fears is the Empress. And, you know, considering the ties to Venus, not the strongest of any of the major tarots, the Empress does have some. I think that's going to be Morgwin, and he is right to fear her. Fucking paladin who's got no shits left to give. Let's see. Be helped by judgment. I mean, the warlock might be helped by judgment, but I think lines have been crossed by the patron that he's got no hope of that coming about. Hindered by the world, I should fucking hope we get the whole world turned on his ass. Get him. But in the end, Wheel of Fortune is his fate, so it is very much up in the air. Which fits, because he is not the big bad of the campaign, to the best of my knowledge. So, yeah. Once again, you have some, oh, that's why I can't, yeah. You have, some very good, I'm not sure what to call it, predictability doesn't sound right, you've got skill, is what I'm trying to get at. You are just showing more reason that I was correct in sending you a physical deck to enjoy. Because this is how accurate you are with just a computer website that can't even do reverse positions. I can't wait to see what happens when you've got a legitimate deck to pull from. Let's see, this one needs a bit of moving to position. This one I'm going to do similar to this, but reverse. We're going to do the pastel blue, bring it back. Alright, cut that. Cut it out of here. This time we are going to feather it by 3 times. Just see what it looks like as a test. Zoom in. That's a nice feather. Come on. No, turn there. What I was trying to do is that. Actually, that looks pretty good. If I get the edges to feather more, it'd be better. Using, oh shit, not that. Select none. Let's see. Bad. Now I just need to figure out how to keep the color solid there and fade out to there. Because that's going to be the tricky bit. Actually, let's start with just zoomed out. Let's duplicate visible. Still have those to edit. Let's see. What if I do those two? Layer mask. I think this will work how I want it to. Let's see. No, I don't want this. I want just regular linear, don't I? Got the colors flipped. Yeah, that is probably going to be the easiest way to do this. That will do on that. Oh, not on that. None. Okay, that is good. Now let's just figure out this bad boy here. Let's start with rotating. So there we go. Take that there, like this, and I'll just extend that tail out to there. And today we're just going to do the down and dirty version. Later I will go back to the other file and get the base assets instead of this whole thing, because I don't need this circle. All I want was this heart and star. I'm just lazy. Yeah, it's what tool did I use? Where's the curves? Curves. No. Paths. That's what it's called. Paths. Another one like this. And hey, we finally got Michael in the new fancy server. Why is it not? Ah, that's why. Need on design mode. Yeah, I just need to redo the star here. Back to the blue. How is that I do? I have edit stroke path. Yeah, it's stroke path. Perfect. It also looks to be glowing. Also looks to be the wrong color. So let's just undo that. Still, there we are. Where is the... Ah, there it is. Select... How do I end path? Shit. Do we just go to another... Ah, perfect. Cut, undo. What are you guys popping off in the chat for? Jesus Christ, Busk, why do you have that ready so quickly? I see Busk got spicy meat. Ah. Oh yeah. Just starting off on the right foot there. Thanks, Busk. Yeah, what was I was pasting that, and now I need to flip. Okay. Do that, then rotate. I think I can just 90. Let's do this. Wait, why is it? No, you're supposed to be on. Well, fun. Let's go that, and we will rotate. Centered there. No, it's not half bad. Slide choice in it, yeah. It's yeah, I apologize for them. They're not always like this, I swear. So yeah, we will just I'll figure them out later, off stream. So there's no recording of the punishments coming their way. Let's call it that. But let's not do two. Christening the stir. You know, I think you're being a bit too kind to them, but I'm sure they appreciate it. And I gotta do a little bit of abuse to them every once in a while. Let's see, I don't need that anymore. See, but yeah, they love it when I'm so mean to them. It's how they get such great character moments, like the Warforged being the Warlock's dad. You know, they never see it coming. Let's see, rotate pieces. Oh, Shadow of the Heart, right. So then that. I will just hide you along with my artistic sins. There for the heart. There we go. Still need a little bit more. Back movement. I think you'll learn real quick, Hollow. I love them. I love these players. But they are an acquired taste. I'm only lucky to have acquired that over several years instead of very rapidly in a evening on Discord. I'm sure they'll grow on you. Lord, this... It's not perfect, but I take some amount of pride in my scuff. Just merge down. Oh yeah, it's like above and beyond. It's always appreciated. Someone is that good. Well, that good and improvement. Let's see. Thinking. What do you mean jury's out on that one? It's like the two guys who Aiden and Michael replaced were an absolute shit show. So, you know, if you weren't as fun minimum as them, I would have already kicked you out long ago. It'd be very hard to replace you, though. You are one of the few players I've known in all my years of playing D&D who actively wants to know everything happening. Euphemism, that's it. And, you know, you gotta appreciate those players while you got them. Because you never know if something's just gonna take him out. Let's see. Night Mask. There we go. It sounds like the jury is very much here and they are disagreeing. You're in the clear, dude. You are safe. I think the only thing that's left is I'm going to scale this bad boy up so he's a lot more visible. Oh, selection's active, so it's... There. So let's scale this up and try and get a final version to christen this new server. Oh, not that. Not this one. This scale's not working. What was the one that I had fun? Unified transform. Let's make that a little bit squashed. I think it's certainly a funny way to do this. No, let's scale it out like that. No. Let's see. Shut up and take my heart piece. Whoopsh. You know what? It's a good first draft. Let's go ahead and get this bad boy in there. Let's see, got to export as a PNG. Oh. I see that I spelt Starheart wrong. It's in reaction images. Yeah, export with those settings. Alright, so while I get that added to the Discord, if anyone would like to sound off with the total time on this recording so far, because I think I'm at 2.5 hours, but I might be mathing wrong. Let's see, server settings, emoji. Shit, I already forgot the path how to get there. Shit. Images, there we go. Start is near the bottom. Thank you. Where is start? You got the poem? Shit, Ooh, do I want to risk everyone else knowing it yet? I want to do it live. Okay, that sounds like a good place to end it off on. Let me go ahead and switch to the be right back, the ending stream. Go ahead and send me that poem, and we can do a live reading to end off today. Discord changes because we didn't do anything there. So we're going to start off with. Oh god, it's tiny. Alrighty. Well, it's a very nice short poem. Alright, so for everyone here who is part of my D&D campaign, I've already talked to you guys about how Campaign 3 will be in space, potentially with nice fancy mech battles. A couple weeks ago, Michael asked for inspiration for a poem. I showed him a poem I have of the bond between a pilot and his mech. It's a very positive, very intimate but not romantic poem. And I told him, here's the poem. Do it from the perspective of the enemy facing this guy. So without further ado, the poem of someone having to face this mech. Ashes and dust are what remain of those whose flesh is all sustained. The sickness that dwells between the stars, we shall keep what's rightfully ours. Break their bones and free the soul, tainted by death and no longer whole. And for the little poet's mark is just racist space elves, so nice. To contrast with that, let me go up to the original poem. So, in comparison to that, evil, dark, we're about to be killed by these genocidal maniacs. This is what the pilots speak of. They talk of their mechs. Touch my soul, and I'll touch thine. Our bond will last till the end of time. Be my sword, and I'll be your shield, and no force will